Good morning and welcome to another beginning drawing class. With the holidays coming up, I thought it'd be a good idea to deal with Christmas. So if you remember in the past, we've done cards, greeting cards, and I thought that with the holidays coming up, some of you might be interested in making some cards. The only difference this time is in the past, I've used card stock, actual cards, blank cards that you can work on, but for today I'm just going to use a full sheet of 9 by 12 paper, and I've got a bunch of different images that I'm going to put on for you, and then you can choose those or add some. Kate made some copies of a couple of pages that I got some of the information, very simple stuff. For example, we're going to start with a snowman. And so I'm beginning with the head here and the body. Now, you might want more, you might want 3 of the huge balls, or in this case I'm just using 2, and so it's like everything, it's like you choose what you want to do. So I'm going to put like a kind of like a knit hat on top, and I want a little ball on top of that, and then kind of like the rock kind of eyes, nose, and mouth. Again, you can do whatever you want. Artistic license is alive and well. And then some of the most natural kind of arms are using the stems from your local tree. Okay, so that's just the basic starting point. I want to erase now because it's the snowman or snow woman, whatever you're creating, is white, though there's not a whole lot of color here. I'm going to use, as I usually do, colored pencil. So I'm using black for the eyes and nose, and you know, I have a tendency, like most people I would think, to lean over my work, but unfortunately when I do that, I cut out what's going on with the camera, so I have to be careful of that. So here's, I'm going to use a nice brown for the arms. So if you remember when we were making the cards before, in the back we had ship in a bottle, and then on the front there were various images. Well, when we get to the other side here, I have some images. I've got the greeting, you know, Happy Christmas, or if you prefer, Merry Christmas. different ways to deal with the main part of your card. So anyway, that's just very basic. I mean, simple shapes, can't get much simpler than that. So that's one easy image that you can deal with. So the next thing that I want to do is a snowflake. And I'm actually going to use a straight edge because I want to get a good straight line. So it starts off with a vertical line. Whoops, that didn't come through. Okay, and then you've got these two angles. This one, and then this one. Now I'm leaning over here because I've got this very light line, and I'm going to make sure that, excuse me, I can get to it. So there's your basic foundation. And when you look at the pages that we had copied for you, there's 4 different kinds of snowflakes, simpler ones, but this is the most complex one, and I just thought it's just a very interesting one. So I'm going to start with a circle in the middle that is darkened, and then we come straight across at the angle here. So I'm going to go straight across here, here, and then here, 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 and there. And then at each area here, then we go to a triangle right in the middle, and then here. So like that. And then in between here you've got a long line and then a shorter one, a long line and a shorter one. And so that's basically what we're dealing with. So it's just an interesting way to create a snowflake. And so all the way around, the first one is a little bit longer and the second one is a little bit shorter. And then from there, there's a space in between, and you can determine, you know, how far that space you want. And then, so the same thing like this, and then a shorter one, and then a circle. So we can go here, and we can go here, so this book is very interesting because it gives you very simple images for various seasons, you know, summer, winter, fall. And so once I erase the pencil marks, I should be able to get a better idea of what we're dealing with here. anyway, so that's basically one way of making a snowflake. Okay, so now we're going to turn it over, and let me make sure. You want to make sure that in this clipboard or whatever you're using doesn't have any erased materials under there, which would create an uneven surface. So, okay, so now we're going to be dealing with the, I've got a banner here with Christmas on it, and then happy, and I'm going to use, here's the pen and inks that I've used in the past, colored ones. It has a pen on one end and a brush on the other. And if you'll remember, the way that I like to do the brush is straight up and down, so you have a little control over how heavy you want it, because that will, the more you push on it, the wider it's going to be. So in order to okay, so happy is hopefully happy. So we're beginning with happy, and then we have some stars here just to add a little interest. And you can, of course, make those any way you want. And then I'm going to put a couple over here. So, as the greeting, Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever, you know, you happen to be dealing with, this will go in the main body, the front page, if you will, of your card. And since I'm not actually using a card, but you should know from before, so I'm going back, as you can see, because it's easier to see. A lot of times you you can't see because your hand is in the way, and so you've got to be, I don't know if you were here with me in the very beginning when we were doing lines, all kinds of lines going in all kinds of directions. Well, that's why, because in order to see a lot of times where you want that line, it's got to be, it's got to connect the way you want it to. So, so to have the freedom to be able to move in any direction really makes a difference. So, here's so, Happy Christmas. So then we can, okay, erase some of the pencil marks on the material, on the eraser. You want to keep your eraser nice and clean so that you will actually erase what you want to erase and not smudge your material with smudge your page with the pencil that you've picked up on your eraser. You don't want to just move that around. So okay, so there we are. Happy Christmas. I do want a yellow, I think, for the stars. Add a little brightness to it. And again, as usual, you can make your colors as light or as dark as you like. And in terms of the banner, now I want to use a green because I've got the red in the happy, and by doing a green, it follows suit in terms of the colors of Christmas. When you think of Christmas, you often think of red and green. And the interesting thing is that red and green are complementary colors. So complementary colors, as we've discussed before, you got your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. If you take, for example, red, that's your primary color. And then if you take yellow and blue, that gives you green, right? So between, so those, that's your, you got your primary colors, and then when you mix it, that's your secondary colors. And the opposite of your secondary color, which in this case is green, the opposite on the color wheel is red. And so that's how you know what your complementary color is. Okay, so there's a Happy Christmas. Okay, so let's go down to one of the things you might want to do is, here is a stocking, Christmas stocking, shaped like okay, and then we have the oops, there I am again, always in the way. Okay, and then we need the berries. Okay. So the holly, I'm going to erase a little bit here before we get to the colored pencil. So again, being a Christmassy, I'm going to use the top of that as like the fuzzy, you know, that you normally see, like on a Christmas Santa Claus type hat. Well, here we'll make the bottom part of the stocking, we'll make it a red, because that way it'll go with, and I think I'm going to make it a little bit darker, maybe a little easier to see. So again, as we've talked about before, by having a beveled edge on your pencil, you can have a reasonably even color so that it doesn't look streaked. Okay. So we've just about got that. I'm going to put a little bit up here, a little darker, that way it stands out a little bit more. And then again for the holly, excuse me, so for your card, you know, an image like this fits right in for the holiday season. So those are the kinds of images that we're creating here that would go with the month of December as we're going into Christmas time. So, okay, so there's another image. Now we're going to go over here to a candle. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to, this part of it is like if the wax was running, you know, and so I'm going to do that. Then we have the flame. I have holly on here too. I mean, it just makes sense. Again, each of you will be creating what you want to create, but certainly is appropriate to have holly right here, right now. But in addition to that, we have these to add a little extra, and then a little something on the end here, and so there's that. And you really don't need to do any more than that. So we'll erase our pencil lines for the most part. And then I think I'm going to use this. So color-wise, you know, there's all different colors of candles, and I'm going to make this one. This is the melted wax part of it. I'm going to make that just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to just add a little red there, and then yellow. Let me sharpen this. And then yellow up here. See how that works for the flame. And then, yeah, we need to sharpen that in order to get these thin leaves here without going over the line. So it just makes it very, oops. So that can happen to anybody, okay? It just broke off, and right in the middle of what I'm doing. That wasn't very nice, was it? But that happens. So you just carry on, right? Carry on. That's, you know, here we are in the middle of a pandemic, and that's one of the things that we're having to do is carry on no matter what happens. So so for all of you out there, I would just not only like to wish you very happy holidays, but pray for your health and happiness, not only at this time of the year, but all year. So God bless you all and keep you all safe and happy and prosperous. You know, a lot of people are struggling right now to just try to pay their rent or keep their mortgage alive, or it's a real challenging time. So I think it's more important at this holiday season to support each other, to be there for each other. Yeah. And then we got the red for the berries. And so there's a little bit of an image, okay? So now another image of this time of the year is a snow globe, right? So in here I'm just going to put a simple tree. And then next to it, another tree. Put a little moon up here just for the heck of it. And then you might not be able to see, but I'm just putting a little bit of the snowflakes that you would get from a snow globe. So I think that very appropriate image for a Christmas card to a friend or a relative. So basically all we need is a little color for the trees. And obviously, as you can see, we've used a lot of green in this, what could be a Christmas card, but that's appropriate for, you know, if you had a wreath, for example, it's going to be there'll be a lot of green in there, right? And so Very appropriate. And then I'm just going to, I think I will make this a different color, brown. So I'm just trying to give you a variety of images that would be appropriate for a Christmas card. So here, another appropriate image would be a Christmas tree ornament, right? And then some kind of attachment. So there are, as you know, you probably, people, I think this time, this year, 2020, because of the pandemic and everything, people have started decorating for Christmas early. So you probably have all kinds of Christmas tree ornaments already up. And so I think I want to do something a little bit different here. So if okay, and then I'm just going to use blue. Let's see if I have time to get a couple more images in here. Up here, I thought this was kind of interesting. Again, it's in the book, and it's reasonably simple because you've got a skate, which, you know, people will be doing some skating this time of year, that's for sure. So to keep it simple, we can just do it like this. And there you are. You basically already have a skate. Although it's, so I'm going to use brown for the skate. It could be black. I don't know, black is just too boring for me to, or it could be white, you know, you see white skate boots. In this case, we're dealing with a skate boot. And then you can leave the rest of it blank, or I have a silver here that I thought would work very nicely, better than just, you know, the color of the paper. But there's so many different images that are appropriate at this time of year for your cards. And so these are just some ideas to stimulate your own creative process. So as we continue, we have a bell. And then on the top, we can make like a bow, and then so very quickly and very easy, we've got a new image that give us something to, I'm thinking this would be a very nice violet or member of the purple family. Make a very nice bell. I'm just going to make this very light. And then I think I'm just going to use yellow for the ribbon. And then I think even in here. And then, very quickly here, I think I have enough time left. Mittens. You know, mittens. This time of the year when it gets cold and I'm just going to very quickly, and then just a little something which gives you the impression that it's, you know, woven or knitted or, yeah, so. And let's see, I think I'm going to do a little bit different color here, or is it? So basically, that will give you just some ideas of images that you can use on your cards, because hopefully you'll be sending a few cards to different family and friends, and so you don't want them all to be the same. So hopefully this will at least jumpstart the creative process for you and give you some ideas. And in this book that we've been using, it's really quite good in terms of it's an introduction to hand lettering with decorative elements, and so really quite good. So anyway, there we are. I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you soon. Thank you very much.